Binoy Kumar is joining us, the Steel Secretary. Thank you so much for being with us, Mr. Kumar. With the slowdown in India's GDP, the fear is that the industry will suffer a mid-cycle slowdown this fiscal after growing at about 7 to 8% in the last 2 years. Do you see that happening?
Well, I would not be that pessimistic because the way the consumption and even the production are increasing, I think that this will be an overstatement, and therefore I do look forward to a better time for the steel industry in the next 1.5 years, and particularly in the next half of this year, there will be an increase in demand. And to that extent, I feel that we should look towards the positive side.
Right. And when do you think the scenario would be favorable?
Well, there are two reasons for a little bit of a slowdown. One was the slowdown in terms of the percentage increase in consumption or the percentage increase in production. So the reasons are primarily that in the first half there was a lowering of the demand, and to that extent our people did have inventory. And but the positive side was that, or has been, that people have shifted to exports. So last month in August, our exports shot up, and that is a very welcome thing, because otherwise we were importing and our exports were down more than 35%. So that was one positive side of it. Now with all this, the government's recent decision of first the corporate tax reduction, second the housing, third the general environment in which our banking sector is operating, we in the government feel that there will be a further increase in the demand for construction, infrastructure, and automatically the demand for Indian steel will increase. We are also coupling that with keeping a very close watch on our imports. Now, as you would have noticed, we had a little bit of a surge in imports in the last 6 months or so. But even that has been now, last month saw a little bit of a decrease, though we still continue to be net importer, but there has been a decreasing trend. And we expect, and that was one of the reasons that we are keeping a close watch. Our Department of Commerce is keeping a close watch, and there are other trade measures that we have taken. And one very big measure that we have taken is what we call as a Steel Import Monitoring System, SIMS, which is being actually monitored by the DGFT in Department of Commerce, but we are collaborating with them. And we feel that this will be a very good guide for us and for the steel industry in India in general, to see that, what kind of imports come and how do they switch over to some of the steel making that may be required by our economy in general.
So, what is really gathering momentum is that after the corporate tax cuts coming in, divestment could very well be the next, line of action by the government. And one can see the stock market also being pretty exuberant to, even a whiff of something like that happening. Tell me, within the steel sector as well, do you see divestment being the next step or course of action being taken for, say, instance, a sale?
Well, that is already there. 3 units of sale have been actually there for disinvestment. These are in Durgapur, Salem, and Bhadravati Steel Plant, what we call as VISP, Vishwesvaraya Iron and Steel Plant in Karnataka. Now, expression of interest have been called. These are being actually scrutinized by the transaction advisor. We hope that in at least 2 of those, very good response actually have come. And we are looking forward to that. That should be one big step forward insofar as the steel CPSE's disinvestment is concerned.
Absolutely. But we wouldn't look at an out-and-out privatization anytime soon, would we?
I don't think so. You see, public sector takings do play an important role and they have played historically a very important role in steel. I'm talking of steel sector. In steel sector, CPSEs, particularly SAIL, or for that matter even NMDC, they have all their establishment is in very remote areas, difficult areas. They have helped set up those establishments, whether it is Bokaro, Rourkela, Bhilai. All these were very distant places at one time, and they have developed entire township, an entire economy around those. Around Bhilai, we have the whole lot of secondary steel sector industry in Raipur. Bokaro also has done the same thing. At one time, Jamshedpur was also the same thing was done. So these people have played a very historical role in the socio-economic setup also in the region. And one way in which we are thinking we should move forward is by forming JVs, joint ventures. Some of these steel plants have got some land available with them, which can be very fruitfully utilized for, getting value-added steel produced there. And to that extent, we are forming a policy which, should be helpful in setting up such kind of JVs with, some companies which can think of going ahead with the next level of steel production. So that is one of the things which these people can do. And the rest is, of course, that they definitely need to improve their own production. And I'm happy to inform you that SAIL, for the first time, has been given this 25% commercial mining permission in some of their remote mining areas located in Singhbhum or in Odisha, Burbil area. So we expect that with this 25% commercial mining, SAIL will be able to, first of all, serve the purpose of providing iron ore to the general market, especially in the context of March 2020 scenario, where some 38 working mines, their leases will elapse, and on the other hand, also their own financials will also improve. So this is the other step which we have taken. They have also been asked to use their lower grade iron ore dumps which they have at the mine heads, which are below 58 Fe content. And I think they are having about 70 million tons of that. So this 70 million tons, if these can be beneficiated and made into pellets or used otherwise as concentrates and things like that, I think this will give us a lot of iron ore, raw material security for our steel industry, which is the next very important thing for us in the government.
Right. Just wanted to get back, Mr. Kumar, to the point that you were making, that you're closely monitoring imports as well. And just to leaf out of that, what is it that we're staring at? Are we going to be looking at safeguarding duty imposition? Is that what you're planning? And also imports are now coming in from FTA countries as well, where duties are zero. So how is it that you plan to tackle that?
Well, safeguard is an extreme, measure insofar as trade protection is concerned. While we do have trade protection measures in place, we have got the anti-dumping, we have got the countervailing duties, and these are being done by our DGTR, especially more or less an autonomous kind of institution, and which does look into details of all these things, and they have issued certain recent orders in this regard. But what is more important is the imports that do come from FTA countries, and particularly Korea and to some extent the ASEAN countries, increasingly in the last few months, Indonesia, Vietnam, even Thailand, Singapore. This is something which definitely we are looking at it very carefully, and we do need to be careful on how these progress in times to come. Now, the Korean import is basically also for, you should understand, it is for our auto sector, and some of the imports are in that direction. Some imports also come from Japan. These are also for the auto sector, and also for some specialized high-end steel, which our downstream industry requires. But with this monitoring system which I mentioned, it will be possible for us that in which direction our imports are happening, and our industry will be able to get that information well in advance. And it is our idea that our industry should know what kind of steel is coming into the country so that they can gear up. Our emphasis is that if we have so much of raw material with us. We have got iron ore, we have got manganese, chrome, and even a few others, dolomite and limestone and things like that. Why can't we make use of that for production of steel in our country, which will provide jobs, which will provide the other economic benefits in the region? And therefore, to that extent, we want to give a thrust on this Make in India thing. And we are happy that we have also one policy of domestically produced, manufactured iron and steel policy for the government sector. And we have done a lot of work there. And most of our steel industry, I find that they do produce very quality stuff. They are BIS compliant. They are producing very good quality of steel. So if they know that what kind of steel is required in general in the country, I'm sure they will be able to manufacture that. Otherwise, there will be smaller players, the secondary steel people, who will actually take a cue, and they will be in a position to start manufacturing a small quantity of the specialized steels. And that is what we want to put it in our what we call the framework policy for the steel clusters. And as a first step, we have chosen the eastern side, because that's where most of both our steel plants as well as the iron ore mining is concerned. So with the east, if we have on a pilot project a steel cluster, we will be in a position to have a hub and spoke policy where the smaller specialized steel companies can also join hand, and there will be the major steel producers who can be able to supply them the the hot rolled coil or plate or whatever they require. So this is again one of the things which we are thinking of, and it is still in the making, but we should be able to bring it out very shortly.
Mr. Kumar, such a pleasure having you today on ET Now. So glad that you took time out and spoke with us so candidly.
Thank you.